Your main man, Andrew Wood, returning to answer a question that I've been asked over and over and over again. I've been asked this question many, many times, and people say, how do you form an RPG group? I'm new to the game. But there's going to be a little additional towards the middle end of this, talking about more refined tactics for acquiring and introducing new players to your group. If you've been doing this even a long time, there might be bits and pieces of how I do this that are going to be helpful to you in terms of streamlining your process. So, for the new people, after all, and again, I have been asked this question 500 times through PMs, through questions, and I'm probably underselling it. We're not developing into the realm of hyperbole with 500. I mean, it's probably a very conservative number. The year and a half I've been doing this deal. So, let's think about that. People are not sure how to get involved with this great, wonderful hobby of ours. And I want people to get involved. I want more people. You know, there's those two trains of thought. And I know some of the people that make videos are not of the mainstream philosophy. I am a full, flooded mainstreamer. I think that's the best thing that can happen, because the more people you get involved, the more people of quality that will become involved. I am not, keep this for ourselves. I mean, I tell everybody about it. You know, I all try to bring people in and introduce it, because this might be something that they enjoy just as much as I do. And it's not something I want to keep just for me. So I'm of that philosophy. I'm of the mainstreaming RPG philosophy. And that being said, how do we get involved into that? How do we bring you, the person who may never have gamed before, who might go, ooh, it seems interesting, but so much to do. Now look, you've bought the dice, you've read the books, you've ingested that material in your mind and ruminated upon it, vexing upon certain aspects, but still coming to my channel to learn how to fully bring it all full formed and to the table. But there's no one else at your table. Where do you find those extra seats? No, this isn't an imaginary doll party. You cannot ring your chair with your doll, with your Mr. Frog, and with your dolly. You can't do that. You have to find real flesh and blood people. Now let's talk about the classic, the vintage, the old school escape. The game store. That's right. You may very well have a game store, or if you live in an area like mine, a whole bunch of game stores near you. However, you might not. But let's say perhaps you do. Now, in that same game store, there might be people just sitting. You might walk in, boom, boom, bang. You see them playing Magic the Gathering in the back. You see them playing Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, War Battle Tech, or I don't know, whatever the hell war gamers play. I'm sorry. I'm not even trying to make fun of you. Like, I just have no idea. Let's say they're playing Battle Tech or Warhammer. Yeah, that's one, right? They're playing that in the back. Or you just, man, you hit it so lucky. And they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. They're playing Vampire the Masquerade. They're playing Call of Cthulhu. They're playing Rifts or Cyberpunk or Savage Worlds, or any other game. You're like, oh, there it is, the DM screen. There it is, the books on the table. That guy just made an in-character comment and rolled a die. Ha ha! You know, now how do you find them? Pick up your yellow pages, look through there, look for comic book stores, look for game stores, look for hobby shops. And if you can find something like that, sometimes they even turn up little tiny sections of role-playing game books in bizarre places. You go down to the store that sells models, and they're like, models. You're like, role-playing game books, just on this one shelf. They got 8 of them. And you go and you tell the guy, and you say, hey, is there anyone here that plays role-playing games? What do you know? Do you have a board? Like, well, I don't play role-playing games, but there's a board that you can post on. Or he might be like, hey, I run a game on Tuesday nights right here. Come on down, make up a character. Boom. So you're right in the door right there. One thing I will say, don't be so hung up on this game. You are a beggar. You are not a chooser when you're coming in. Even if the game is abhorrent, you'll have that first experience. You'll understand. You'll start learning. Your portfolio will start building of things to do and things not to do, and of contacts to make. There might be 5 people playing, and you can't stomach 4 of them. But maybe they'll have one good player, and you can start making a connection. That's how we before. And you go, okay, I can start rock and roll with this person, and you start adding. You have one person now, right? And you find one more. and you find one more, and eventually it starts coming together. I'm going to tell you this right now. Expect to put legwork in. Finding a gaming group is networking. That's a very important thing to keep in mind and understand. You will have to do work. You will have to. It's not just all going to fall right in your lap. And if it does, you got very lucky because someone else is trying to work hard at doing that networking and so forth. So that's very important. You can always attempt just to ask, there's random friends of yours and so forth that your sister, your uncle, whoever it is that you think might have an interest in the hobby, you can ask them. But generally, the people go, I asked all these people and they don't want to play D&D with me. Okay, that facilitates going out and meeting new people that may well become new friends of yours. May become your best friends, or maybe people you cannot stand. Who knows? So that's one way. Now, the internet has provided us with a virtual cornucopia, spewing forth websites for social interaction. And there are certainly large amounts of websites that contain the social interaction that you're going to want to have in this game. Now, let's think about that. Facebook. So just go on Facebook and don't look up, Jill Sue. Look up Forgotten Realms. Look up Pathfinder. Look up Dungeons & Dragons. Look up Savage Worlds. Look up Call of Cthulhu. Look up Vampire the Masquerade. War of the Apocalypse of Age of Ascension. Whatever game you want to plug in, there's probably some kind of page up there. You might be able to start making connections. You might be able to find local people. So, that's another great place. Look at vampires, White Wolf, white-wolf.com. Go there, they have a little forum, and it's divided by state, divided by city, and you can find people very easily. I've met gamers on there. I've played games right off that site. I don't mean like they're New Berman by night, which is horrible. Don't play that. I mean, I'm sure when you see people start hating them, you hate New Berman by night. I have a third-generation tornado. Yeah, please don't. God, please don't. People are on there. You're looking for games, and you can start talking with those people. Have that dialogue. Let's see. Did I say Meetup.com? Meetup.com. I've met tons of gamers off Meetup.com. Most of them not very good, but besides the point, I have met some good gamers right off Meetup.com. Blair, Steve, you guys will watch this. Not so much Michael and Jamie, but anyway, these are different avenues, and there's tons and tons of other ones. Feel free to leave comments below. Remember, you can't type full web addresses in here because of spam bots and so forth, YouTube. But you can get around that if you have a brain. So, and if you listen to my videos, you have twice that amount of brain and perhaps more. And then more might be a bad thing. But anyway, on to part 2. That's right. 2 parts of 1 video. That's how we do it here at What Would Ander Do. And what I would do is tell you this. Now, when you are already established, but you need one. You need maybe 2 more players. Maybe you're playing, for a long time as intense, all flesh must be eaten game, and you're like, I only wanted 3 players for that game. I have 3 players, bing, bing, boom. But now you're like, okay, we're going to run Forgotten Realms. Damn, I need like 5 players in this game. I need to have 5 players, maybe even 6. And you got 3. You got 3 great, strong players there. But you're running a game that facilitates having more players. It easily accommodates more players. There's certain styles of games that you want more, certain styles of games you want less players. And anyway, that's like several videos, so we're not going to get into that. But what we will get into is talking about the interview. If the new person's coming to my game, we meet them away at like a cafe or something like that and interview them, talk to them for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, perhaps even longer, particularly if we're hitting it off. You could tell sometimes very quickly that a person isn't going to be a match. It's usually myself, and my players usually, they want to come. They get mad at me. Why don't you invite me to come? I want to come and meet the new person. I'm like, all right. They're like, I want to make sure he doesn't, whatever. So sometimes it's me and 1 or me and 2 or even more than that of my players are there around the table barraging this individual with ideas. And we look for people that are going to be able to be personality compatible. You don't want someone there at your house, or even if you're playing at a game store or whatever, you don't want them at your house. You can't stand them. You don't want that guy that's just like, oh, Jesus, man, not this dude. He just sucks all the life out of the room. He brings no enthusiasm, no energy, no fun. He's just not your kind of dude. Just not somebody you would hang out with. Look, pretty much everybody, outside of maybe Samwise. I think Tim could maybe tolerate just about anybody. But outside of him, because he is a saint, outside of Saint Tim, I think that the rest of us probably all have our particular idiosyncrasies where we're just not going to match up with everybody. That's human nature. That's fine. It's normal. So you want to make sure that person does fit onto your group in a social level. And I've seen people not do that, and it worked out horrible for people. I mean, I'm a little scarring. So you want to bring people in that you're going to be able to get along with. After all, bringing out of here, you don't get to bring the +5 sword home, but you can bring friends home. You can make relationships. You can build. And if you're spending all this time with people, it kind of sucks if they're just, people you game with. I've never been a big fan of that. I'd rather be friends with the people. So that always factors in the decision for me because, I'm in a good spot. I can bring tons of people in, way more than I'd want in a game. So, I factor in, well, you're a good player and I actually like you. We're friends. You can come in. This other person, we're not really friends. I don't ever see us being friends. If we hang out for 200 years, we're probably not going to be friends. Maybe you would pass on you. So, it's perfectly legitimate thing to do, to expect you're going to spend and invest that kind of time in that person, that you're going to walk away with a bit of a relationship there, which is a good thing. Again, we talked about your friends, in the very first part, aren't wanting to do this. Well, now you got new friends, and now you've, brought that around. So, in the interview, you want to talk to them. And now I talked about that part first, the friends part, the personality compatibility. But you also want to find about style compatibility, about gaming style compatibility. For me, there's certain things that I'm looking for. Now, you don't need to look for the same things I'm looking for because you have a different group. It might only be slightly different. It may be completely different. They're very vastly different types of groups. And it comes down to really what do you want to get out of the game? Do you just want to slaughter, tribe after tribe of goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, gnolls, whatever? Just sit there and roll dice all day long, going on long, tedious, trap-laden dungeon crawls where people, are losing 8 characters a game session. Some people want to play that style. Probably not very many, but some people do. Are you playing in a game where it's just for fun? And trust me, when I hear people say that, I don't know what comes after it. Because I tell you, I stopped listening like that. It's like that, that full word fun doesn't even come out. I'm like, I'm done. Where you're sitting around munching chips, maybe drinking a little bit of beer. You have this one guy where they're half drunk. You have people talking on their phones in the middle of it, playing out a character, yelling over each other when they're not involved, maybe even using player knowledge, whatever. They're not getting involved in it. If you want to have that style of game, I wouldn't be a great fit for you. I'm going to tell you that because I wouldn't come back. And that's one of the things you want, people that are going to come back. You want to have that out on the board, as I explain how my group does things, what we want in people, what we want in terms of that. For me, I'm an immersive style role player. I want a game where there was very little to no out of character anything. I'm talking about almost to 0%. Talk before the game, talk after the game, talk in character during the game. If you got a phone, turn it to vibrate. Walk out of the room if you need to take a phone call. Well, I don't enjoy that. I don't want to see people texting and all that stuff. And never talk over other people's scenes, but mostly, stay in character and act. Bring it, use the facials, use expressions, try a voice out. Do whatever you can to make me believe the character's sitting there and not you, so that I can get to that point of suspended disbelief. That's what I play for. So having a player like that, having a min-maxer that power games only to kill stuff, having someone that wants to talk out of character and get drunk, you're going to have a bad mix. You want to have the right types of players. And there's way more types of players than this. But, I don't want to make the video like 40 minutes long. So you want to say, okay, what do I want to get out of the game? What kind of game do I want to have? And figure that out and make sure you're honest with yourself. Don't be like, oh, I want to have this great high-level role-playing game, but yet all your characters are like 90% out of character, Then, you're not going to have that. So then when you meet with someone and they go, oh, yeah, this high, immersive style, yeah, that's what I want to get into. And then you get there and you're like, oh, man. Because you want that person to come back. So, make sure you honestly understand what you're looking for, what you're presenting, what you're offering, and then try to get to what they have. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't real good about representing themselves correctly, which I've found out, that'll lead to problems. But if you can honestly direct your questions, can attempt to explain to them what you're looking for, what you want from them, you're much more likely to come away with a person that's going to be there for years, because that's what you want to do. You want to invest in somebody that's going to be there for a long haul. That's why I talk about spending 2.5 hours with a person, because you're investing in them. You're investing your time in them, because you don't want to be out there looking 2 weeks from now because that guy just dipped on your game, or because you had to drop it from your game. It's like, oh, and that could go either way. They could look at you and be like, oh, or you could look at them and be like, oh, for all kinds of different reasons. Personally, for social reasons, for in-the-game reasons, for in or out of character reasons. So it's a lot of those can be addressed immediately. I mean, you can look at some people like, and, or you can look at some people, yeah, that guy, and then you start going, oh, I was wrong about that. I'm glad we talked for a few minutes, or, you might look at him like, I don't think so. I'm almost sure. And then slowly, he comes around and you're like, yeah, all right, I think we can work with this. So I strongly recommend when you're forming the gaming group to invest in getting to know the people ahead of time, what they want, how you can bring them together. Make sure, if you have a large gaming group, you don't bring in like groups of people who just don't like each other. If there's two people that just can't stand each other, one dude just stole the other guy's girlfriend or something. That happens all the time. And, in sort of gaming circles, you don't want to bring those two people in. Trust me, I've seen it a whole bunch of times and it does not end well. Let that fighting be done with dice. Because you don't want somebody to scoop slam through your table. If it's at someone else's house, I will fucking laugh at some shit like that. But I've seen that way too many times to, it'd be cool if I wasn't losing my game time over it. I'll tell you that right now. Because after all, I'm there for the gaming action. So hopefully that's going to address the probably next 100 questions. I'm going to send them right into this video. And hopefully you guys can add your comments, add your experiences and explanations down in the comment box below, add any other websites and so forth. And hopefully this is helpful to those new players. Hopefully there might be something in here that was, vaguely worth the time of all the old veterans and old guys and geezers like me that are still kicking around here. So thanks for watching, guys.